Hello. Again, my name is Jock Pitts, and I am the president of People Working Cooperatively. Thank you very much for joining us here this evening. This is the fourth ToolBelt Ball benefiting PwC. As has been said, the ToolBelt Ball is possible this evening because of our generous sponsors, and we just want to recognize them, especially L3 Harris, our presenting sponsor. Thank you very much. Also, a special thanks to Mike and Gail Viox, who led our committee of extraordinary volunteers and who, along with PwC's outstanding staff, made this all happen. And thank you to Craig McKee for all you did to help us this evening. Very, very appreciated. Each year at this event, we choose one family that has a need for home modification that exceeds our typical service guidelines, just as you saw in the video of Lawrence and his family from last year. Well, it's nice to have the opportunity to introduce you to these families. It's good to know a little more about who we were helping. The dollars we raised tonight are absolutely critical, and there's families that are waiting, hoping that PwC will be able to provide them help. Please, give me 10 minutes of your time to take you into the home of a very sweet family with some exceptional needs, a family from Camden, Ohio. You may never have heard of Camden. It's a village directly north of Cincinnati in Preble County of about 2,000 people. Tonight's story begins with two of these people, Marcia and John, who grew up in the small town of Camden. Although they'd seen each other around town, they did not officially meet until several years after they had both graduated from high school. Marcia was shopping in a Walmart and needed some help finding a product. John was the employee who helped her. From that early encounter in Walmart, a friendship blossomed that led to their first date on Valentine's Day. When they told me this, John and Marcia shared a glance with each other and they smiled. It was a very sweet moment. 4 months after that Valentine's Day date, they were married. John worked several jobs, most recently from Miami University in food service. Marcia was a home health aide and for several years and also a department manager for the Camden IGA grocery store. The first years of their marriage were pretty uneventful. Then the difficulties began. You know, growing up, Marcia didn't think of herself as unhealthy, but she remembers having more muscle and joint problems than any of the other kids. Also, at times, she would faint if she got up too quickly, but no one told her that this was unusual. She has always tried to take care of herself, but as she's aged, her health problems have become more serious. In her early 30s, she had 2 mild heart attacks. Also, the problems with her joints worsened. Her joints actually began to and continue to slip out of place. Her hands, her shoulders, her knees, they literally slip out of their socket. She can usually get the joint back into place, but sometimes it takes up to 15 minutes, and it's painful for her. Just imagine. Many trips to the doctors, but not much in the way of help. Doctors would focus on the symptoms, but did not understand the underlying cause. Well, Marcia devoted herself to research to try to find out what was wrong with her. Her determination led her to doctors that were knowledgeable and online groups that understood her problems. In June of 2017, Marcia was diagnosed with a genetic disorder called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, or EDS. So, at core, EDS patients have problems with their connective tissues. Connective tissues are throughout our bodies, found in our blood vessels, organs, and every muscle and joint. EDS is a rare condition. And Marcia explained that the symptoms make it tricky to diagnose because it presents with so many seemingly unrelated problems. She has a large loose-leaf notebook full of information and research about her condition. I frequently had to ask her to stop, explain the terms you were using, and just so I would understand. She can explain everything. Talking to Marcia is like being in med school. And now she has a team of experts helping her. This is good. Marcia still has the blackouts she had when she was a kid. They are caused by a heart rhythm disorder. And, well, there's a lot more, but I think you get the idea. So I asked her, why does she spend all of her time researching EDS and advocating for more awareness and research? Well, this was the first question that was hard for her. She looked away. Her eyes welled up with tears. She had trouble talking for the first time. My kids, she said, we didn't know. We had the children before I understood. All 4 of our children have EDS. Marcia and John have 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls. And in addition to each of the children battling EDS, one of their sons struggles with autism, and their oldest daughter, Faith, who's 14, has cerebral palsy. Not long ago, Faith asked her parents why she can't do anything right. She can't even walk right. Well, just last week, Faith got special shoes and a boot that helps her walk and reduces her pain. Marcia is thrilled. This is a hard message, and I realize it. You know, physically, this family has very little going for them. But you know, it was nice being in their home. There was a kindness there. Marcia smiles all of the time. She sat in her wheelchair talking to me, and although she wears a neck brace to keep her head steady, she holds her head high. She is caring, bright, and positively determined. She has to be. The family depends on her. Although we spent a good amount of time on the family's medical issues, my conversation with the family was also full of things they like and laugh about. Several of the kids are artists, and their work is displayed everywhere. Michael, their 16-year-old and second oldest child, is particularly talented. Everyone in the house loves to read, and there are a couple of writers too. Their oldest son, Matthew, is exceptionally good with computer tech. He fixes everybody's everything. So the entire family loves sci-fi. I mean, loves sci-fi. They were telling me of all the books and the movies they like, Star Trek, Star Wars, and one of them chimed in, if it has star in the title, we like it. Matthew had a Star Wars shirt on, so I asked him if he'd seen the latest movie. 20 minutes later, and only with the help of his mother, did we change the subject. I now know every plot flaw in The Rise of Skywalker. A few years ago, their youngest, Kaylina, who's 9 years old, was enjoying a Nickelodeon television cartoon, one that most of you with kids may know and possibly despise, SpongeBob SquarePants. I never thought I'd be saying that on stage. One show was entitled The Best Day Ever. It's a song out of the shows. And Kaylina loved this song, and she would sing it around the house all of the time. This silly song, sung by the baby in the family, somehow became important. It's kind of their family anthem. Let me read you a few of the lyrics. Mr. Sun came up and he smiled at me, said it's gonna be a good one, just wait and see. Jumped out of bed, ran outside, feeling so ecstatified. It's the best day ever. Sometimes little things start closing in on me. When I'm feeling down, I want to lose that frown. I stick my head out the window and I look around. Soon Mr. Moon will be shining bright. Yeah, the best day ever is going to last all night. It's the best day ever. Marcia told me it would be easy for them to be overwhelmed by their problems, to be sad. But they focus on what they can do instead of what they can't. Marcia said firmly, we have each other. So, where does that leave PWC? Where do we fit in? Well, Marcia and John's house in Camden is 100 years old, and it has some serious flaws, which I'll discuss in a minute. But there are some very, very good reasons why this house works well for their family. It's in the very heart of Camden, where they grew up. John's mom lives right behind them. It's been great to have her so close. She helps out with the kids quite a bit. They also have a close community of friends in this town, who Marcia speaks of as extended family. They are 2 blocks from the grocery and from the library. They love the library. They use it all the time. And there's a park and a playground within walking distance as well. Camden and this little house, it's home. Yet for all of this good, there are some very practical problems with the structure. The main support joists in the home are bowing badly. The living room slopes 2 inches from one side to the other. I mean, it's like a roller rink. This needs immediate attention, but it can be fixed. It will cost about $4,000 to fix that. The primary bathroom needs to be modified as well. Marcia is in a wheelchair much of the time now, and the water pipes to this bathroom have frozen multiple times. Well, PWC can improve this bathroom for their needs and make sure it is warm and cozy with no freezing pipes. Very importantly, the bedrooms in this house are at the top of very steep steps. Marcia cannot walk up these steps. She climbs out of her wheelchair every night and crawls up the steps. On the nights where when she can't make that journey, she sleeps on the couch. Most significant is Marcia and John's great fear that their 14-year-old daughter with cerebral palsy will fall down these steps. A stair lift would help tremendously, and it would work very well in this house. The approximate cost of that's about $5,000. There are also more issues with this home's heating and electrical systems, and in fact, these are complicated problems and they would represent the bulk of the expense. But PWC can fix these issues. It will take an investment in this older home. The total cost of this project is expected to be around $40,000. One more thing. Marcia had secretly hoped for a dishwasher. She can't stand at the sink to do the dishes, and she can't reach over the sink from her wheelchair very well at all. I told her we'd consider this. What a blessing this $500 machine would be for this family. So, what do you think? Can we make this all happen? Do you think we can make today this family's best day ever? We hope to help Marcia and John and their 4 children. And I would also like to use any extra dollars contributed tonight to tackle the remaining 370 families on our waiting list for modifications. I truly appreciate that you were able to join us tonight and for your support for the work of PWC. Thanks for listening to our story about this family from Camden, Ohio.